Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this December 14th meeting of the Webster Groves Board of Education. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I hope everyone has had a chance to review the agenda. And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I don't think. Celebrations
Student advisor.
from the student advisor.
Well, we have our winter sports, which is obviously all fully started up yet, so we're doing that. Our winter semester is wrapping up, so everyone's preparing for final exams and stuff. And a lot of stress, but also a fun time because it's almost winter break. We had a choir concert happen a couple of days ago, and we have a band concert of some sort tonight. I'm not sure if it's jazz band or regular band, but they're performing. Our spring sports have started up their preseason too, so we're already getting ready for that, which is crazy. And then my main thing was one of our students, a junior, Tate, has had his photos recognized at a Webster University gallery starring high school photography, which I thought was pretty cool.
Super cool. Thank you.
All right, celebrations from the board. Anyone want to start? Ellen? Mr. Todd?
Sure, I'll start. Is this on?
Yeah, bring them.
Okay. New microphones, trying to learn what the lights mean, and they're different than the old one. I'll be quick. I'm sure a lot of this Derek's going to get used to where Derek is. Derek's going to cover in his thing earlier, but we had a lot of students recognized for all-state orchestra, choirs, all those bands, middle school and high school jazz band. So I just wanted to take a minute to celebrate all those students and families and teachers who put all that work in. Congratulations to them. And also just want to take a minute to celebrate the staff and the administration, everybody that put together the high school curriculum night. I have had several families approach me about how well it went, how much they learned about the programs at the high school, everything that the options are for all the kids. I even had a couple of families that were not sure if they were going to send their kids to Webster Groves High School, and after that curriculum night decided to. So just want to take a minute to celebrate that program and that staff for putting that together. And finally, and be quick, just want to take a minute to celebrate and recognize all of our teachers and staff as they wrap up this first semester. It's been, I think, overall a good one, and just want to take a minute to recognize all of their effort and energy that they've been pouring into our kids and thank them for that, and wish everybody a happy holidays.
All right. Tara, this year?
I also wanted to recognize the high school curriculum preview night. Can you hear me? I feel like it's not on. Okay, better? All right. I have an incoming freshman, and it was just a great night to learn about the high school, meet teachers, get information, learn about all the clubs and sports and everything Alan mentioned already. So it was a great night. And I also wanted to recognize the Hickson School Play. It was 10 ways to survive a zombie apocalypse this year. It was a great time. And I wanted to recognize Mr. Connors for all the work he does to get the play together every year. This is our third year being a part of the play, and it was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Awesome. Keita, are you ready?
Sure. Alan and Tara have pretty much taken everything I was going to say, so I could pretty much just say ditto. The high school open house, of course, everything. I will also celebrate the high school band concert last week. Awesome, as always. The symphonic band and the wind symphonies just sound awfully great, as they always do. And also, yay for Christmas holidays and everything else coming up. So that's it.
Thank you. Grace?
So Ellen got several of the ones I was thinking about too, so I'll go first next time. But just shout out to the kids as we're coming to the end of the semester. It's a long road to get here and it is stressful, and so a lot to look forward to. So I hope everyone has a really restful winter break and gets to disconnect and relax. Very much needed relaxation. And shout out to all the athletes here tonight. So we're really excited about your accomplishments and a great season.
Mr. Khan?
Yeah, happy holidays to everybody. If you can't take me seriously, just close your eyes. So thank you to Pam and the team that made transportation more accessible across the district, moving from 1.5 miles from school to 1 mile for bus transportation. That's huge. So a couple of these are specific to Edgar Road. Dr. Koppel, the assistant principal at Edgar Road, congrats to her. She completed her doctorate last weekend, so that's a huge undertaking. To all the volunteers across the district that are about to be helping with winter parties and things like that. And then a big shout out, Lori Buchanan. She's a co-president on the Edgar Road PTO. She had a huge undertaking in bringing back enrichment classes at Edgar Road. They used to be pretty prevalent prior to the pandemic, and then they took a little hiatus, and she did a great job of going around and getting a lot of volunteers to bring those back, and so hats off to her.
Thank you. Christine?
Yeah. Here. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the open house, the curriculum night at the high school, the athletes, the teachers, but I also wanted to thank the families and the parents who help out and volunteer within the district. And specifically, I'm thinking of Hickson's largest event, largest fundraiser, the Hickson House Tour. I attended, I volunteered in the past. It takes a lot of people to help out with that event, and I just really wanted to celebrate them.
I will just add one thing. I just want to thank everybody that helped out with Chili Fest, because that was a really, really good, fun night, and also, I think, more profitable for the high school than it has been in years. And although we may not have the best football team, we clearly have the best chili, so that's something.
Going to turn it over to Mr. Duncan.
All right. Okay, I'm going to need to bend down. Can I hold this up? Is that okay? So we have a lot of celebrations tonight. I'm going to go through a couple before we have our students and staff who are here to be recognized. Additionally, first, we have some high school students who have recently received honorable mention from the Missouri Interscholastic Journalism Association for some photographs. So this first one on the left is senior Kiana Ross. She captured a picture of a cheerleader doing a stunt, and then the one on the right is Zodi Clark, who captured a picture of a tug-of-war against sophomores and freshmen at the Turkey Day pep rally. So congratulations to both of them for receiving honorable mention for their awards. As you guys mentioned, we have some St. Louis Suburban Jazz Band recipients to honor, as well as Suburban Middle School Band recipients to honor. You can find out more on our Facebook page for that. We're also going to invite some additional students to a future board meeting, hopefully, for their all-state orchestra and all-suburban and all-state chorus. It's our understanding that all-state band has also been selected, so we'll be sharing that, and so hopefully in the coming months we'll be able to talk about that some more. And then you mentioned about transportation, so we're grateful to be expanding bus service for elementary riders. So we're reducing the eligible distance for elementary ridership from 1.5 miles to 1 mile. So primarily it's going to minimize exposure at those busy intersections for our students. And then even with this available capacity, so we're not going to be incurring any additional costs through the district because of our agreement with First Student. And so these routes are scheduled to be taking place in February. And at the same time, transportation is piloting an app called First View, and it is a bus tracking app that is right now being piloted at 3 routes. And so parents can download the app and track the location of their bus, and they can, as it approaches their stop. So that'll be available coming in January to all of our families who have bus riders. And then again, that's a free service for our families as well. Okay, then lastly, before we get into recognitions, we want to talk about Pam Frazier. So Pam, whose journey in public education began over 2 decades ago as an elementary school administrative assistant, has announced that she'll be retiring at the end of this current school year. So Pam Frazier has been with the Webster Grove School District since 2019 as its chief financial and chief operating officer. She's currently responsible for all areas of business and operations in the district, including technology, maintenance, custodial, construction, student transportation, food service, finance, and the business office. Under Pam's leadership, the district has earned a reputation of strong financial management and stability. We earned a AA+ long-term rating by the S&P Global Rating Service, which is one of our highest ratings. And then earlier this year, Pam was named School Business Official of the Year by the Missouri Association of School Business Officials. So her commitment to excellence and dedication to her profession have made her a true leader in the field of school business management, and her achievements and contributions, they've been so instrumental in this district in improving the quality of education for not only the students here, but in her entire career for many more. So we wish Pam Frazier the best in her retirement at the end of the school year. Thank you, Pam. Okay, I'm going to change and go up there. Okay. Is this good? Hello? Okay, so we have our student groups here tonight, and we also have some other staff who are here, and we're recognizing outstanding athletic accomplishments for the most part here tonight. So I'm going to first ask for the girls' tennis program team who's here to come up, and along with your coach as well. You guys can come over here. You just stand like that. So I'm just going to read a little bit about it and then give you an opportunity to say a few words. So the Webster Groves girls tennis program has had an incredible season. They were undefeated in team matches during the regular season with a 12-0 record, and they won their first district championship in school history. They lost their first match of the season in the state semifinal to Ladue, who was the defending champions and ended up being the eventual state champions. And the girls team placed third after a comeback against Thomas Jefferson Independent, again to capture the third place trophy, which was the best in school history. So tonight we're recognizing these girls who competed in the state tournament. So you're all here. I'm going to read off your names, and if you don't mind just coming over here, and our board president and superintendent will give you a certificate. Minky. I'm sorry, you. I know. Millie Binkelman. Katie Dirks. Elena King. Reagan Mattiotti. Meg Nakatani. Addison Simpson. And Hannah Sweeney. So what we're going to do is, after we recognize all of our groups tonight, we'll come back up here and take a picture. So you can stand here or go over there. But I'd like to invite Coach Justin Arnold up here to say a few words.
Thank you. Appreciate you honoring the girls. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of really good teams, and this one was a great one. It's not easy to ask a group of high school kids to accept a new coach in their first year, but these girls not only trusted me, but they bought into each other. Not only are they good tennis players, but they're great kids, and they're great role models for younger girls to look up to. So I could not be more proud to be associated with this group of girls, and they deserve all the credit in the world. Thank you to the board for honoring them, because they really deserve it. So thank you.
So I forgot to mention, I know the board likes to hear from any seniors who are on the team. If you would come up here and just maybe mention if you have any plans post graduation, and say your name too.
Hi, I'm Elena King. I have plans to go to college. I'm not sure which one yet. But I think I want to study pharmacy. And yes, I just have yet to see where I will go. Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, ladies. All right, next up, we have cross country. So we're going to start with the boys cross country team. But I'll talk a little bit about everybody. So both cross country teams had their best day this year, one of their best days in years, at the Class 4 state championship meet in early November. For the boys, as a team, they placed 4th overall to earn a state trophy for the first time since 1970. The team was led by junior Dominic Buckman, who earned a state medal by placing 12th individually. So I'd like to ask the boys cross-country team to come up here, if you don't mind. And they have their medals tonight, so that's great. So I'm going to read your names, if you don't mind coming up, and we'll do the same thing. Blake Ahrens. Go ahead. Congratulations. Henry Boland. Dominic Buckman. Corbin Cole. Max Kilstrom. Jack Schneider. And Joe Wetzel-Meehan. The boys' team is coached by John Petter, so I'd like to ask John to come up and say a few words.
Thank you to the board. Thank you so much for having us and honoring these guys. I'd second what Coach Arnold said. These are not just incredible athletes, but incredible students, role models, leaders in the community. But I would celebrate this year that we had kind of one of those years where it's kind of special because we kind of got knocked down in the middle of the season. I always think, what does a team look like when they sort of rise from the ashes and they kind of get knocked down? Can we get back up? And so we probably had one of the worst meets I've ever coached in the middle of the season and got kind of defeated and down. And these guys really rallied together. I used every bit of my psychology master's degree in that process to get these guys back. But we came together. These guys did everything asked. Like Coach Arnold said, these guys have been running since late May, right? About 5 months of just grinding and working and just continuing to learn, to question, to build themselves, work together, to build each other up. Our leaders are both seniors and juniors, so we're going to be back next year. These guys are just incredible teammates, people, and I love the opportunity to just be their mentor. So thank you so much, and I'm so proud of these guys. Thank you.
Okay, if there's any seniors, you can come up, tell the board what you're planning on doing post-graduation.
I'm Jack Schneider. I'm planning on going to college, and I'm kind of have no clue what I'm gonna do. But I think I want to run, but I'm not 100% committed on that. But yeah.
I'm Blake, and my plan is to go to the University of Iowa and study environmental engineering or environmental sciences.
I'm Max Kilstrom. I plan on going to college and studying aerospace engineering. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. You can go wherever. All right, I'd like to ask Parker Allen and Carson Selby to come up. Go ahead. So the girls cross country team boasted 2 individual medalists in their race this year. Junior Parker Allen earned her second state medal in as many years. She finished 10th place. And right behind her was freshman Carson Selby, who finished in 11th place. As a team, the girls placed 7th, then they ended up finishing only one spot behind the 6th place team. So tonight we're recognizing our 2 individual medalists this evening. So first, I'll have Parker Allen. And Carson Selby. Team is coached by Leslie Cray. She's not able to be here tonight, but we thank both of you guys. And no one is a senior, so they got time. Okay. Okay, now the board is recognizing a few staff members. The first one is Hickson Middle School nurse Amy Hensley. Now, Amy's not able to be here tonight, but I'm going to read a little bit about the reason for recognition. She was named Outstanding Service by a School Nurse Award by the St. Louis Suburban School Nurses Association. So Nurse Amy Hensley is renowned for her exceptional care and dedication to the well-being of the middle school students, and she stands out for her commitment to providing and supporting a nurturing environment. Her contributions include helping out with the annual 6th grade camping trip, and she plays a pivotal role in ensuring the success of the event by not only offering first aid, emergency response, triage, daily medications, but she also provides essential counseling for students who experience homesickness and panic attacks on the overnight trip. Dr. Shanita Mays said that Amy is more than deserving of this award, and she's a valued member of the Hickson community, and we appreciate all that she does for us. So we're proud to recognize Nurse Amy Hensley. She did send me something to read tonight, so I'd like to read that now. She says, "Thank you so much for recognizing me this evening. I have been honored and humbled to be singled out for the Outstanding Service Award by the St. Louis Suburban Nurse Association. I feel so thankful to be a part of the Webster Grove School District, and especially this exceptional group of nurses. I don't think I am special in my dedication or my determination to do what is best for the students. I am, however, exceptionally blessed to be a part of Hickson. Middle school provides such an amazing opportunity to build relationships and watch our scholars grow. Every day is a new adventure, and you never know what you're going to get. I truly love my job. Thank you again, Nurse Amy." So congratulations to Nurse Amy. All right, now I'd like to ask Jessica Haskins up. So Jessica Haskins of Webster Groves High School was selected earlier this year as one of the Emerson's 2023 Excellence in Teaching Award recipients. Jessica is among almost 100 teachers from across the entire St. Louis metro area who's been recognized this year through the program. And the program as examples of truly outstanding educational excellence. So the Emerson Excellence in Teaching Awards is in its 34th year, and it's one of St. Louis's region's most recognized teacher recognition programs. So Emerson sponsors the program as a way of helping the community express their admiration and gratitude and dedication to all of the teachers of our students. So we're proud to recognize tonight Jessica Haskins. Do you want to say anything, Jessica? No? Okay. All right, finally, I'd like to ask up Eric Hayes to the front. So Eric Hayes is representing Hickson tonight, and the reason is for their recognition of Hickson Middle School in the seedling status for the Missouri Green Schools earlier this fall. So something Eric said that was included in the nomination, or in the recognition, is that students at Hickson Middle have stepped up and started making meaningful changes in both the building as well as their community, learning about and putting into place action plans that have a positive impact on their surroundings, such as creating a classroom recycling program and creating a large outdoor sustainable classroom area. We plan to continue our learning journey one step at a time, trying our best to make a positive difference in the lives of those around us. So Missouri Green Schools is a state-level recognition and support program from the state, And there are 5 levels in the Green Schools program. So last year, Hickson received the Sprout level, which was the 2nd level. And so this year, like I said, they earned the Seedling, which is the 3rd level and the next level up. And so Eric Hayes has been instrumental in all of that work at Hickson. So he's representing Hickson tonight. Congratulations. Yeah. And the principal, Dr. Shanina Mays, is here as well. You can come up. Would you like to say anything?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say that we are very thankful for all of the work that Mr. Hayes has done to lead, really to create and plan and implement and lead our sustainability program that we have here at Hickson Middle School. I remember when I first started at Hickson, we pretty much immediately started working on creating this program, creating this elective class, and figuring out what it is that we needed to do to get this program up and running for our students. You will hear me say often that if you ever have a chance to visit the Heart of Hickson, which is the official name of the courtyard garden space, you'll hear me say that it was once a big muddy mess after construction was complete. And our students, alongside or with Mr. Hayes' leadership, they took that space and really turned it into something amazing. So I could not be more grateful for all of the work that he's done. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Okay, now, like I promised, we're going to get a picture. So I'd like to invite everyone back up here, and the board will come up in the front here as well, and we'll get a picture. So just come. I didn't change any of these slides. I should have had you change these slides. I didn't ask you to. How would you know?
I took a long time. So excited. No judgment. I told you it'd be so.
All right, well, thanks to all of our students and teachers that showed up tonight. That was great. Moving on to our learning showcase from Hickson.
Dr. Adams is going to introduce him.
Oh, Dr. Adams.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here tonight as we continue our learning showcase where we are highlighting different programs from across the district. And tonight we have several of our staff members from the Hickson PE and Health team who are going to be highlighting several of their programmatic developments, and they'll introduce themselves as they step up to the mic.
Good evening. I'm Dana Mitchell. I am a 6th and 7th grade PE and health teacher and department chair currently.
My name is Vinny Armando. I teach the 8th grade PE at Hickson.
I'm Jordan Lewis. I teach 6th grade PE and health at Hickson.
So first of all, I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed that you invited us on a night when we got to see and recognize those kids that, you know, we've had at Hickson in the past. So it was really fun to see them. Ultimately, we want our students to find something that they're passionate about. So we tried to provide a big variety of activities and get them involved in a variety of different things and hopefully spark something that they want to do throughout their lifetime in order to stay healthy and well. So that is really the heart of our passion for our physical activity program, and that is our purpose. We good? All right. So some of our national standards, we demonstrate competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns, apply knowledge of concepts, principles, and strategies, and tactics related to movement and performance, demonstrate the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain a health-enhancing level of physical activity and fitness, exhibit responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others, recognize the value of physical activity for health, enjoyment, challenge, self-expression, and social interaction. I also wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate how much you've supported our program over the years. I started at Hickson in 2000, and so I've been in the district for 24 years, and I've got to see a lot of growth. So whenever I started, I was actually a bond issue purchase. I was the third full-time person at Hickson. Up to that point, they had 2 full-time people and a traveling teacher. Our department now has 8 PE teachers, wellness teachers. We teach health as well. And we went from every other day PE to everyday PE, and we've really built our program to include experiential benefits for students throughout the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So in addition to that, we've increased programming options. So we offer, Vinny is one of the ones that teaches not only competitive 8th grade PE, but also regular. So we have like choices where students can choose lifetime, competitive, or regular, and then that can kind of fit their level of interest and kind of what they want to do as well. So we're starting to provide some options like that. And then we have included and developed in the last couple of years something that we call a flexible choice day. And so in our rotation of our units, we end each one of our rotations with a flexible choice day where we provide lots of different opportunities for students, and they get a list of the things that are offered that day, and they get to go and be active in those areas that they choose to be in that day. So we know that the more interested they are, the more learning occurs. So we want to develop that in addition to all of the other things that we were talking about earlier. Did you want to go over these? Okay.
So kind of up on the board, we have like different images of kind of different stuff that we do. So net wall games, we do things like ping pong, we did floor tennis last year, volleyball, nitro ball, badminton, pickleball. And so that's kind of like garden variety pictures of different activities we've done with that. Yeah. Oh no, never mind. I lied. So lifetime and recreational activities. So lower photo is a game that actually 2 students developed. It's Can Jam and disc golf mixed together. And then we also got geocaching equipment. Thank you, Dr. Mays. So we set up a geocaching map, and the kids actually got to go out with GPSs and go and find the caches. And then, so striking and fielding, these are things like kickball, wiffle ball, softball, hockey, polo hockey. And so we do, with our Statesman Times, we now do a kickball tournament. So that's our 6th grade champs in there this year with their cup. And then we also have pictures of floor hockey. And then health and wellness, like we said, we teach wellness, which is health and fitness combined. And so we try to do different interactive projects with the students for that class. And then cooperative games and team building. Those are just games to get the kids involved, get them interacting with each other. So up on the board, There are pictures of the WA game, which is a lot of fun. And then also infection tag, which the kids love to play. I know that sounds weird. It's actually a lot of fun. So it's a ball, and there's like 5 people that start as infected. They wear pennies, and they have to swat the ball. Ball has to stay on the ground, and they can't kick it, swatting it with the hands, so we're working on the striking motion. And they swat the ball into other people, and if they get hit with the ball, they're a part of the infection, so they go get a penny. And the infection just grows. And then once it gets big enough, we throw in another ball, and that ball's the immunity. And so if they get hit with that and they're infected, then they get reverted back. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So invasion games, up here we've got a lot of basketball pictures. So this is just a bunch of different stations that the students did in order to reinforce basketball principles. But other invasion games we do are like capture the flag, soccer, more of your team sports aspect type thing. Dance into the YMCA, and then also we just started archery last year officially, like within the curriculum. I'm very passionate about archery, so you're going to get a pedestal moment about it. Last year we got a grant. It was $3,000 to get NASP archery equipment. We also have been doing an after-school archery program. So hopefully we can get that more embedded within our curriculum, and then maybe in the future you'll see an archery team. So that would be cool. So with other individual pursuits, that's more archery, we also did golf. We actually set up a golf driving range too outside, where we had different cones at different levels, and the students actually got to drive golf balls to different distances to see how far they could hit them. And we also did a create your own putting range.
Thank you, Dr. Anna, for
Yes.
helping us with getting, when we got into teaching, we wanted to include this, and we had golf clubs when we got into it. We realized we only had right-handed clubs. So I was like, is there any equity money available so that we could do this with our classes, because we have lots of limited students and we have to make it where everyone can participate. So that was something that he was able to help us out with.
So bowling, we recently also just got a grant to get bowler's ed equipment, so we've this year implemented bowling within our curriculum, so that's a lot of fun. And then fitness, we try to incorporate fitness now into our daily activity. So these are just different modes that students have done with outside workouts, inside workouts, four-corner fitness, stuff like that. Ice skating, so we're currently doing ice skating, especially with 6th grade. I just wrapped it up today. Ice skating's a lot of fun, and the kids usually really enjoy that aspect. And then student choice. So like Dana already mentioned, we do student choice days. So we have a garden variety of different activities set up that students can go pick what they want to do for that day. And then so the next slide is actually going to be a video. And I'm going to let Vinny come up because he's the brain master behind that video. And it'll hit play if I hit next on the slide. So I'm going to let Vinny talk about it.
You can just knock the video out first.
I can knock the video out? Okay.
King, what you going to do on the flex day?
Maybe I should go play some volleyball.
All right, what else y'all want to do on the flex day? All right. What do you guys want to do on the flex day? Lion Square, let's do it! What do you all like to do on flex days? What do you all like to do on flex days? All right, let's see it. What do you like to do on flex days?
I like to run volleyball.
What do you all like to do on flex days?
I like to play SOB.
All right, let's see it. What do you all like to do on flex days? All right, let's see it. Yeah, so just wanted to show some of the awesome things kids do and just how excited they are about doing it. You can see the smiles on their faces, but we're passionate about making the best experience we can
on a daily basis, and a lot of times for these kids, since everybody's different, it means choices. So we just want to thank you all for everything you do, because it takes a team to provide these experiences that we give to kids. So everything you've done in terms of helping with staffing and providing awesome spaces for our kids. Hickson's really come a long way in its own space. Obviously Moss is going to be awesome. Memorial this year, just as a temporary thing, was huge. So just thank you for everything that you've done to help with these spaces for kids, so we can provide these awesome experiences. You know, it's just every single kid that was in here today came through the Hickson PE department. So thank you all for what you do to help make it awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then we just wanted to put our little plug in here for some future ideas that we have. So some things that we would love to have happen and continue to grow our program, updating the old gym, which is what we call it, Gym A, by fixing the facility issues and adding new implements like the climbing wall. That's something that we don't have yet. Automated hoops and a sound system. We do use mics to talk to our kids so that they can hear us, so it's very helpful to have that in place. Convert the football locker room space into the weight room, yoga, dance area. So we're not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but we have Dr. May's support in trying to use that space as part of our PE program, and we are looking forward to developing that. And then continue working on adding a unified class where students with varied abilities can support each other. So we, Jordan and I and a couple of other teachers went to our conference just a couple of months ago, and so we learned more about the unified program, and we are going to try to do a kind of test run pilot class for next year, and then we will propose the actual class for the following year. So that's one of the things that we have in our work.
But, I mean, I think that's everything that we had. Like everyone else has already said, because I didn't thank you all, but thank you all so much for everything you've done to support them. I know they've been here longer than me. This is my 3rd year in the district, 3rd year teaching in general. So I'm very excited that Webster selected me to come teach your middle school kids. So thank you for the support that you've given them in the past, and thank you, hopefully, for the future support you will continue to give us.
So thank you to the 3 of you for being here tonight. And again, you mentioned this earlier, but you represent a group of 8 at Hickson, and we also have a team at the high school. And to our members of the board, again, this is just an opportunity to share for a moment some of the great work that's happening in our schools. And often programs like PE sometimes can be hidden under ELA and math, and so I really appreciate this opportunity to showcase some of our different programs and the work that our educators are doing. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here. All right, board policies, first read. If you haven't had a time, check out those, and if you have any questions, reach out to one of the people on the policy committee. We can talk about those. Board candidate filing, it began on December 5th at 8 a.m. It will continue through regular business hours from 8:30 to 4 p.m. It ends on December 26th, when the office will only be open from 4 to 5 p.m. So filing does not occur on the days that the district offices are closed for inclement weather, or also from December 22nd through the 26th during winter break. For people that filed on the first day, the ballot order was determined by a random drawing, and anyone filing after that date will appear on the ballot in the order in which they filed. And there are 2 3-year terms available. And I know Keita and Christine are both seeking re-election, so. Board calendar.
No new changes, just on there for you to see.
All right. And we do not have any written or public comments tonight. So moving on to reports from superintendent and staff, the fiscal year audit, Ms. Frazier.
Yeah, good evening. As you recall, at the meeting last month, we had a draft of the audit report in the packet for your review. And then this evening, we have Keith Slusser with Fick, Eggemeyer, and Williamson here with our auditing firm, and he will give a report and an update to the board on the results of that audit.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'll keep it brief. As some people know, I'm on the Brentwood School Board, and these meetings run long, and no one wants to hear an auditor talk, evidenced by the room clearing out before I go. So, on a Missouri School District audit, there's 4 pages I point people to, the most 4 important pages on there. Maybe it's a bit conceited because they're all on our letterhead, but nonetheless, they're still the 4 most important pages for the audit. The first is our independent auditor's report. That's on page 1. The whole purpose of the audit is for us to issue an opinion on your financial statements. We have an unmodified opinion. That is the type of opinion you want to receive. We found no departures from generally accepted accounting standards. So, someone was to ask, do we have a clean audit opinion? The answer is yes. The next page to look at is a state of Missouri requirement. I don't have page numbers memorized. All right, page 28. So the state of Missouri requires us to test attendance and transportation in regards to your state aid that you receive for those. So we'll test attendance, we test the calendar, we look at mileage logs, we recount count sheets to make sure that the bus drivers mark the students properly and that they match these things. So that's part of it. On here too, no issues noted as far as the state compliance goes. The next report to look at would be page 33. So part of a governmental audit is we're required to do it under governmental auditing standards, or generally accepted governmental auditing standards called GAGAS. We call it yellow book auditing. Here we test compliance with internal controls, and we test your internal controls. So we kind of stress test. These aren't number driven. These are, if we say we're doing stuff, are we actually doing it? Are we approving invoices like we're supposed to? Are we approving payrolls? Are the proper signers on checks? So we kind of stress test the system to make sure things are happening accordingly. I always like to just tell people, we do not test for fraud. Everyone always assumes an auditor comes in, gives a clean opinion, it must mean there's no fraud. That's not part of an audit. If we discover fraud, we're supposed to tell you, the board, about it. We did not discover any fraud, but an audit does not automatically indicate that there's no issues. It just means we didn't find any. We can't look under every stone, but we look under as many as we can to find out. The last one is 2 pages later. It's a report on internal control, or not internal control, single audit. So when you have more than $750,000 in federal expenditures, we're required to do a single audit where we test the federal expenditures to make sure you're in compliance with those guidelines. That too has a clean audit opinion. So all 4 letters that are in there on our letterhead, kind of where we're putting our neck out to speak about the district, all have clean marks. So from there, I'd leave it up to you if you have any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you so much for being here.
No, you guys have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you. And can I just... I just want to say thank you to our Director of Business Services, Emily Vaughn. She is the main contact and works with the auditing firm, so I want to thank her for her hard work on that great audit outcome.
Great. All right, strategic planning.
There's a motion to approve.
Oh, sorry. We need a motion to approve the 22-23 audited financial statements.
Make a motion to approve the 2022-2023 audited financial statements.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Now moving on to the strategic planning update.
Dr. Adams and I are going to tag team this brief report. The majority of you were at the strategic planning meeting where there was an in-depth presentation. The content is in the slides, and so we'll share with you, and then if there are any questions of the actions that we're doing at this point, the leaders in the room can answer any questions that you have. So it's just really an update on the work that started this year.
Okay, just as a quick introduction, there are 4 goals that are included in our strategic plan, and this evening we will be highlighting some of the work that has been completed or is in the process of being completed on particular strategies within these goals that are due to be completed in the summer of 2024. So we're not able to give an update on every single strategy, just the strategies at this point that are due in 2024. As we look at Goal 1, excellent teaching and learning, the particular strategy that we are working on right now is research and pursue an instructional coaching model in support of job embedded professional learning. So some of the action steps that we have taken up to this point have been to look at our current staffing models and projections for the future. Also reviewing our current financial status and projections to determine whether or not an instructional coaching model is viable for us. Connecting with other districts to determine how they implemented their instructional coaching plan. Studying the work of Diane Sweeney and Jim Knight, who are gurus in the instructional coaching world. And then we will soon be forming a study group to develop a Webster Grove School District vision for what instructional coaching can be, along with the draft implementation plan. So that way, if we are able to move in this direction, we are prepared to do so. As we move to Goal 2, this particular strategy focuses in on college and career pathways, including and looking at how we can support our students and staff and families as they are making educational decisions from 6th through 12th grade. You got a little bit of a glimpse tonight. We have a lot of different opportunities, and we want to organize those in a way that allow families to see how they progress over time. Several of the action steps that we've taken up to this point has been to really expand our Thrive program. So through several grants, including the Innovative Technology Education Grant, we were able to expand our elementary programming. And so there's an after-school club that's happening. We've also been able to offer an after-school program at Hickson, as well as this year we are offering Thrive Junior as an actual elective course at Hickson. In addition, several meetings ago, our high school FACS department was here. We were able to celebrate their CTE recognition, and so that is, again, a part of our Pathways work. And then we also, you've heard about our teaching and learning cohort through the Chelsea Center at Webster Groves High School. And then we are also working on a project with the Frick Initiative through Washington University of St. Louis to create a space for civil discourse, folks who are interested in political science as a potential elective their senior year, and so we're working on that as a pathway as well. We will soon be forming for second semester a work group to begin developing the guidebook, also creating a corresponding website to accompany that guidebook, and then working with communications to create a Pathways video series so that we can better advertise the different pathways and offerings that we have for families. Within Goal 2 as well, we have our individual career and academic plans that students create in middle school and then will use as a support as they continue on through high school. This particular strategy was due in 2023, and so as you can see there, it is completed. We do initiate those in middle school, but students are not locked into that plan. It's just to get the conversation started, and then students can revise them as they go throughout their time here in Webster Groves. As we move to Goal 3, the particular strategy is to evaluate and strengthen the consistency and effectiveness of our discipline practices. And so under the leadership of Tina Clark-Scott, we are in the process of creating a discipline evaluation team where we will set specific goals related to the work that we hope to accomplish as part of this particular team. We are in the process, or have been, collecting and using data to inform decisions, especially related to discipline practices, and she'll be sharing a little bit of that later tonight in the DEI report, along with how we use the data to determine and problem solve around individual student needs and also groups of students within our buildings, and then adjusting the overall approach that we take as needed, depending on how we are supporting our students with not only discipline, but also behavioral, social, emotional support as well. So that's what we have for goals 1, 2, and 3. And again, these are just the strategies that are due in 2024. And Dr. Simpson's going to share with us goal number 4.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, goal number 4, one of the items is, as we've talked about as a board, what can we do to continue to support, recruit, retain, support our staff, and one of those things is how do we continue to demonstrate care for them and create opportunities for self-care. So this year, we're going to be developing like a physical plan that outlines some of the different things that we can do. And it's not just us, but working with them through some various committees that we have to demonstrate that. So some of the things are just how we creating space for them to come together and just be in space with one another. What was shared at the meeting too was we developed a black card, which we worked with different organizations, restaurants, different places around town that would give discounts to our staff. So we have a card where they can click on the QR code and they can go find every place that offers educator discounts like AT&T, and then they could go on there and also see what Olive and Oak offers educators in Webster Groves. So looking at all whole kinds of things, and even how can we within our model, which doesn't offer the flexibility of some other jobs, how can we offer flexibility? Because that's something that people in the workplace are craving right now. So a lot of those opportunities come for us in the summertime, but if there are opportunities that can be done during the year, we try to make that happen. Next one, a leadership. How can we, in the process of developing a leadership program, which will actually launch in second semester. And so this is a program that's designed to help develop and support aspiring leaders, whatever that leadership may look like. It's not confined to like a single role. It's not a teacher who just wants to be a principal or a principal who wants to be assistant superintendent. It's any of the roles within our organization. It's a custodian who wants to become a custodial lead. It's a nurse who wants to take on a nurse coordinating role in the future. And so designing that program and bringing in different people to again, help support people and encourage them in their role. So starting with a cohort of teachers, having a graduation of sorts, then just trying to continue to repeat that on a learn from a pre and post survey and do that from annually. Of course, one of the things that we're also looking at and bringing to the board is a plan for how we possible reductions in expenditures. And so that's something that we've talked about for a number of years as it relates to our funding, particular the decrease that we had in enrollment. And so we'll be bringing a plan to you that has recommendations for that. That involves some different groups as well, and we have a group that includes teachers and a number of different staff members to help us problem solve and think through some of those possibilities. So again, that plan will come to the board later this year. The master facilities plan, we've had some different condition assessments that have been completed, but we're looking to develop a plan for a plan that prioritizes those replacement and upgrades. And so that's something that Jason Miller is doing right now, is using the condition assessments that we've gotten, just confirming that data that we have, and then just looking at the different, within those assessments, they have their own timelines, but what does the timeline look for Webster Groves, and then getting some cost estimates for that. So that's another particular plan that will come before the board too. As we've shared, another one of the big things we're undertaking is we were pushed to have to our core data system, Tyler SIS, is no longer. It was bought by Infinite Campus. Infinite Campus is a student information system that is pretty common. They're in a lot of different school systems. And next year we will, as it says there, the data migration for the years will be completed early in 24-25. So again, this is another big step, and just as you hear all these things, it's important for us to be mindful of the impact of all the adults who are going to be on the end of these changes. And that's another big one we're kind of forced to do. Derek will present a little bit tonight. This one was on the family and community engagement. We will, again, this year be bringing to you a family communication engagement plan. Some of those action steps includes the program program evaluation presented tonight. Derek has also created a communications advisory that has a lot of professionals who are in the communication space who advise him on some of our different practices, both real-time and proactive as well. And then we've also started this year meeting with PTO leaders on a regular basis, committed to that. So that's a good thing. And then again, just researching best practices. So that plan will be coming to the board a little bit later. Kind of related to that is just our tracking. We've done different surveys with our community, but just continuing to be learners, to be responsive to what our community is saying to us from like how they like to receive their information. Just using the analytics, it's something that has been a growth area for ours, is being more data driven when it comes to communication. As we've presented before, a piece of that is just looking at how are we communicating our priorities on a regular basis. And looking at our strategic plan and see how often are we communicating on particular items. So all of that will be wrapped up in that particular community engagement plan, is how we will use the metrics and the analytics to support our communication. And that's it. Again, majority of you were there for the 2-hour experience. And again, it's a work in progress. You can ask questions anytime, but we're certainly open to any questions you might have now.
Any questions from the board?
I just have a quick question. The career and academic plans for middle school students, that was complete this year. Was it implemented this year?
It was actually implemented last year, and so it's through the counselor and the work with the student.
Okay.
So it's housed within the counseling office as a conversation with the student regarding what interests they have going forward.
And does the student receive anything, or?
I believe it's housed with the counselor, and is really just, the overall process is to help point in the direction of what courses they might be interested in or what electives, et cetera. And so a lot of times within that conversation, the student doesn't actually get a copy of it. It's housed within the counseling office, if that makes
Okay. Does it ever work its way back to the parents when they're helping with the course selection?
That's part of what we are working on going forward, is we have the compliance piece in place, so we are doing it, but now how are we actually using it as a tool to make sure that we are connecting with some of that pathways work as well, so that way it's a nice tight system in bringing the families in to help with that decision making as well.
Okay, got it. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Now on to the Webster Groves High School course changes. Dr. Adams.
Works the way that it's supposed to. Good evening again. I'm excited to be here to share some course updates with you all. So in the past few years, we've made some pretty exciting, pretty drastic course additions, especially at Hickson. This year is not going to be as exciting. We don't have a lot of new courses that we are adding. Actually, we have nothing that we are adding to Hickson. Again, we've added quite a bit over the last few years. And so we're giving them a little bit of a break. As far as what we're presenting tonight related to Webster Groves High School, I want to be really clear up front that even though it says new courses, these are not actually new courses. These are all practices or courses that we are currently offering or supports that we have in place. Our goal with the changes that we are recommending is really to help bring more transparency with the supports that we have in place for our families, and including some of these practices in our course guidebook, so that as families are making decisions or as schools are reaching out to families and having those conversations, it's all succinct within the information that we're offering. And I'll try my best to explain that this evening. So the first real change is, again, not a new course, but it is U.S. government, and the change is that we would like to expand the course from one semester, which it currently is, to a full year course. So again, the same curriculum, same course. We are just expanding the amount of time that we are offering this course so that students have an opportunity to go deeper in the work. The second course that we are proposing a change to is AP US Government. Again, it will mirror the US Government course, and we want to expand it again from one semester to 2 semesters. Just to inform the board, our prerequisite courses that we have, so U.S. Government is offered the junior year. The prerequisite courses that we offer freshman year and sophomore year are also full year courses. And so as we continue to roll out the revamped process or the revamped cycle of our social studies courses at the high school, we're looking to expand it to a full year. Again, same curriculum as we have currently been able to offer with AP U.S. Government. The next course is not a new course, even though it is, so work with me on this. So algebra support is something that we have been able to provide students who are taking algebra, but then also need additional time and support in order to successfully complete algebra. And so we've called this historically algebra support, but it hasn't actually been a written course. It hasn't been in the guidebook. It's been more of a conversation between the family and the student about taking algebra support, and a student can get an elective credit. But again, if you are a family member and you receive the call that your child's going to be in algebra support or geometry support, we want to make sure that that is in the course guidebook so that you can reference that, you can take a look at it, there's a written curriculum, etc. And so even though the curriculum will match that of algebra, we want it to make sure that we have it documented as a separate algebra support course. So again, it's not changing our practice, it's actually changing the way that we go about communicating and how we're being more upfront in communicating that with our families. The next course is very similar, geometry support. Again, it's not in place of geometry, it's offered side by side with geometry, and again, a student can receive an elective credit for participating in that course. The next course, currently we have what we call a learning strategies course. And this is often a course that is provided for students who need support with executive functioning, organization, oftentimes a part of what may be a student's individual education plan or an IEP. And historically, the way this course has been organized is that you may be in a learning strategies course and there may be 10 other students in that learning strategies course, but the particular content areas that you need support in may differ. So I may need support in math, someone else may need support in ELA, etc. What we are doing is taking that learning strategies course and then making it more specific to the content area that it is designed to support. And so instead of having students who need support with geometry, algebra, ELA at different grade levels all in the same course, we are organizing the schedule so that our students who need support with algebra are all in the course together, students who need support with geometry are in the course together, etc. Again, this is not a new course, we're just restructuring how we offer this particular support. And then as a result of that, we are recommending that we remove 2 courses. The first is Concepts of Algebra. So this particular course will be replaced by the Algebra Learning Strategies class. Students will either enroll in Algebra Learning Strategies in conjunction with a co-taught algebra class. So co-taught means with a general education teacher and then with a special education teacher, both teaching the class at the same time together. Or Fundamentals of Mathematics, which is a mathematics course specifically designed for students who have special education needs. And then the second course is the Honors U.S. Studies AP course. And what we are doing there is now that U.S. History has moved to the sophomore year, the opportunity to do those classes at the same time is no longer there. And so this has traditionally been referred to as one of the block classes. And so that opportunity to align those two curriculums is no longer there because U.S. history is now the year before when the literature English equivalent of that is being offered. And so students will still have those isolated experiences, they just won't have the opportunity to have those experiences together. And so you can see there the courses that will still be offered in both content areas as a result of that. Just one other thing that I wanted to inform the board of with the U.S. government course and the AP government course, just wanted to remind the board of how that fits within the overall trajectory of our high school courses. So in 8th grade, students now take World Civilizations and Global Issues 1. In 9th grade, they take World Civilizations and Global Issues 2. As they move into their sophomore year, U.S. history, and then as they move into their 3rd year, U.S. government. There have been some questions about where does geography fit within this? Is it a standalone class? Geography is intentionally embedded in all 4 of those classes. And it's actually, I believe, and a lot of social scientists believe as well, it's a better way to go about teaching geography because you're providing context and you're providing opportunities for application as you're discussing these other particular areas as well. So with that, I'll take any questions that you all might have.
Any questions?
I've got just a couple. I'm guessing with the removals, the answer is no, but are there any staffing changes required with the additional courses and moving this stuff around?
No, so a lot of what's happening is already happening.
Yeah.
We won't have to add any staff as part of this, and there wouldn't be a need to decrease staff as well.
That was my assumption, but I thought I'd better ask. And just my second question is with the expansion of those 2 courses from 1 semester to 2 semesters, is that, I guess if we look at our peers and other districts that are teaching those types of courses, is it common for those to be full-year courses and we were just sort of slow to get there? Is that safe to say?
It is.
Okay.
It is, yeah. And actually, I believe it'll be a better experience for our students because, I mean, U.S. government in 1 semester, I mean, we can all imagine.
It's a lot.
U.S. history in 1 semester. And so any opportunity we have to continue those opportunities for students and to go deeper with that learning, I think is a benefit for our kids.
Yeah. I saw our student advisor agreeing with you about it being a lot for 1 semester.
Any other questions? So I have one. So if you're taking the algebra support class, you're also taking algebra at the same time, correct? So when I sign up for algebra, how do I know to sign up for the algebra support?
So this is where it's been a little tricky in the past. So you don't actually know to sign up. You don't have access to sign up for algebra support. To be placed in algebra support, that's a conversation with the teachers, the assistant principal, and the family to make that recommendation to place someone in algebra support. And so often what would happen is if someone needed that additional level of support, when that decision would be made to place that child in that course, you couldn't then find the description of that course in the course guidebook. There wasn't a written curriculum, et cetera. And so we wanted to make it equivalent to all of our other courses that we are offering the same way with geometry as well.
And if you need that, do you have to change your course, the rest of your classes to make room for it?
You would have, since it's an elective, it would take the place of another elective.
So you'd have to choose something to drop and...
Correct. Okay. Typically, though, as students are moving to the next level or to the next grade level, that's when that conversation would happen.
Okay.
Our desire would not be to have that conversation after you've already started a semester in another course.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
I have a question on the learning strategy. So are there quite a few learning strategies classes now, and that's why we're breaking them into the 5 different specialized classes? And if so, just from a headcount standpoint, do you expect there to be enough students in each of those as well? I'm guessing yes, but
Yeah, so we won't actually, great question. We won't be adding additional learning strategies courses. We're just taking the current number of learning strategies courses that we have, and we're reconfiguring who goes into what learning strategies course. So that we ultimately, most of our learning strategies courses are taught by special educators. And so we want to make sure that we are being as intentional as possible about pairing up our special educators with a content area that they're supporting, rather than asking them to support all of the content areas and executive functioning. So we're trying to be more intentional about how we're placing.
And
Thank you.
Jason, a follow-up question to that. Is there professional development training that is then required of those teachers who are now being paired with specific subjects like ELA 10 or algebra, for example?
Yeah, so a lot of the learning strategies recommendation actually came from our special educators, and they were wanting that, and the special education leadership were wanting this change. And so because of the need for support around the content areas, and so that is something through special school district, we've been provided an instructional coach, similar to what we were talking about earlier. Special school district offers instructional coaches, and so we are using our instructional coach to better support our teachers as well, but then also wanting to pair them up with our content experts as well. And so Susan Bergman and Cara Miller, our literacy and math coordinator, content coordinators, will also be working with them as well.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Dr. Ed. Oh, we need a motion, sorry, I'm failing on the motions. I will entertain a motion to approve the proposed course changes for the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Moving on to the Family and Community Engagement Program evaluation. Mr. Duncan.
All right, President Dole, Vice President Keller, and members of the board, Dr. Simpson, thank you for having me tonight here to talk about our program evaluation, specifically dealing with parent, family, and community engagement. So we know that communication primarily builds trust, and not only that, but we know a family who receives communication, who feels more engaged in their community, in their schools, generally translate to students who have better success in education. So this aligns with our strategic plan, as Dr. Simpson mentioned, to better communicate and partner with families and community. I'm going to go over some of the background in this program evaluation and the process. So we gathered input from our stakeholders, which include, in this situation, parents, community members, staff, and students. We sent surveys to families, staff, and community members. We had some student focus groups, peer discussion that I had with some other school public relations professionals, as well as reviewing other district communication plans. And I'm going to go through some of the findings that we have here. So this primarily is from our survey. So we know that families look for school information. When they're looking for information about their school, they look through email at 77% and Parent Square at 60%. They prefer emails and text messages for general information, reminders, updates, information that's not related specifically to their child. They have rated school and teacher communication generally was well received, and they noted that Parent Square has been helpful, but occasionally been confusing for some of them. Additionally, 63% of respondents felt like there were opportunities to express concerns and opinions about important issues affecting them in the district. We had 20% who did not feel that way, that there was not opportunities. And overall communication performance on a scale of 5 rated about 70% between 4 and 5. I will note that the survey was filled out by a little under 300 families and community members. Something else we found was some of the comments. There's an abundance of platforms in the district, not just communication, but everything in general was an often feeling. Parent Square, we've talked about Tyler Sys, Canvas, Remind, Class Dojo, Seesaw. There's just some ideas that maybe it was often confusing with the number of platforms we have. Some feel that they receive too much communication and too many notifications from the district. Website content can be hard to find in some situations. We did find from our community members who filled out the survey that they do read our print publication, Our Schools, that they receive, that all community members receive every spring, and they also visit our website at a much higher rate than the average family member who filled out the survey. In talking with my peers and in reviewing other districts, it was discovered that nearly every district has a communication plan that guides their work, which, as we've talked about, is part of our strategic plan. We don't currently have that in Webster Groves, but nearly every other district does. And then we are thinking about what we're doing as a district in the communications department to be more proactive in our messaging and storytelling. And like Dr. Simpson talked about in the strategic plan update, how are we aligning our district goals into our communications? So we're not just sharing information and sharing stories that aren't related to our strategy and our goals. And then we also found that not only in our social media, but in other district social media, that they're primarily using it for storytelling and two-way engagement, less information, less upcoming events and things like that are being utilized on social media based on some of that reach information that we'll talk about a little later. Some equity considerations that we are thinking about is primarily, are we sharing stories that reflect the diversity of our students and staff in the district and in our community? Are we doing that effectively as a whole? And then are there any technology barriers or language barriers that we need to be concerned about and take into account when we are developing new communication strategies? I'm going to talk a little bit about some celebrations. First, we have launched the Parent Square Communications app for all families, and 50% of families and staff have downloaded the app this school year, which we just launched over the summer. Previously, we used a different platform, so this is our back-end system for sending out information, and then families also can receive information through the app. 96% of our families receive text messages from the district, so 4% of our families have opted out of receiving those text messages. With our previous provider, families had to opt in to receive text messages, so we were not able to utilize text messaging at the rate that we are now. And then we also have begun using secure documents feature in Parent Square, so you might have noticed that if you're a parent, we've sent report cards lately, we've sent some other NWEA scores, things like that through Parent Square secure document feature. So it's a way we can save the district some money on printing and mailing and stuffing envelopes. We've also created a couple committees. So one, a communication advisory committee consists of some communication professionals who have connections to Webster, whether they're parents or community members, and they advise us on different strategies. We send them information, and they kind of help us. Hey, are we doing a good job? What could we improve from that communication, and offer us feedback? We've also partnered with PTO leaders this year for the first time at a district level to streamline some of their communication that they're receiving from the district, as well as helping them collaborate with each other that can hopefully streamline and make communication between schools and between families more efficient as well. We've also incorporated student voice in our storytelling. We've done this in numerous ways, but tonight we've asked two of our interns, and they're sitting here today, Libby Combs and Rebecca Fairbanks. I've asked them if they can come to the podium over there. They're going to talk to you a little bit about their experience in our department. We've had student interns for a number of years, and we're really trying to incorporate more student voice. And so, go ahead.
Well, hi, I'm Rebecca Fairbanks. I'm a senior at Webster Groves High School, and this internship has meant a lot to me. It's a very valuable experience, and recently we made a video for the National Principals Month. We went out to the different elementary schools and talked to some students about what they liked about their principal. It was really fun to use my editing skills. You know, we got to put together a little reel, add some background music, some text, and create something that was shared out on Instagram and Facebook. It was really fun.
My name is Libby. Recently, you guys might have seen on the school district Instagram, we've been posting videos of like a walkthrough tour of all the elementary schools. So far we've done three. So far we've done 3, and honestly, they're really fun. Like today we went to Avery, and a lot of the teachers were recognizing us and thanking us, And we've heard from parents and from teachers and from other students at our school too that they like the videos. People have been reposting, and I really feel like us being able to post on the Instagram and make videos and include other people at our school inside those videos too have caused more attention to the Instagram and the Facebook, and everybody is asking questions now. It's also really fun being able to interact with all the little kids. Like whenever we went to Avery today, I saw one of my friends' like little sister, and all the kids were looking at us and they were like, oh, what are you guys doing? I don't know, it's fun being able to talk to the kids and I don't know, kind of like make connections with community members that we don't get to see, but it's good knowing that you have other people there. Also, Mr. Duncan and Ms. Fox have been really, really awesome, fun to talk to and everything. So it's been a good experience for me. I've been wanting to do this since last year. Whenever Miss Laurencia, she first mentioned it to me, it has been a great experience.
Thank you, ladies. You guys can go see, and then when we have open it up for questions at the end, if you have any questions for them as well, that's perfectly fine. Thank you, guys. So we know that having students talk about their experiences at school is better than the district talking about students' experiences at school. So that's why it's so important for us. We've done other things with some other students at high school, middle school, and elementary school to help incorporate more student voice in all of our storytelling. They mentioned a lot about social media, about Instagram. So we have had an increase in engagement and followers on social media. We're up nearly 300% reach on Facebook over the last couple of years. We also, within the past 2 years, created an Instagram account that now has around 1,300 followers. And so that's all good news that we like to see. And then finally, for celebrations, like we mentioned, I think I mentioned here a couple weeks ago or a month ago, Our School's print publication that we produce out of our department received recognition from our state chapter of school publication or school PR professionals, and so we're thrilled about that because we redesigned it. It was all done in-house. Shannon Daniels here today, who is primarily the designer of that. She's in our department, and then Elizabeth Fox is here today, who's in our department as well. Like the girl said, they help manage the interns and also write a lot of this content and produce the publication. So, going through recommendations now, based on our feedback from our community and based on some what other districts are doing and analyzing and looking at our own best practices, the recommendations that the group had or to create and implement a district communications plan, first and foremost. Also create best practices for communication for classrooms and family engagement. So what this means is we saw that there's a lot of families that feel confused and maybe overwhelmed from Parent Square and SIS and Canvas and all these things. So how can we teach and train our classroom leaders and our school leaders to best utilize some of these communication tools so that families maybe don't feel as overwhelmed. We want to update the website, knowing that community members are our primary audience on our website. So how can we update the website with some changes, like intentional changes that reflect kind of the best practices of everything in the field, kind of really looking at it from a lens of what we can do to better market to maybe prospective families, thinking of it like a private school maybe kind of does in some situations, is something we want to look at. And then also, so you'll notice that this program evaluation was primarily just focused on family and parent and community engagement. We didn't look at staff engagement or alumni engagement. Those are all stakeholders through our district communications program in general. So one of the ideas is just consider expanding this evaluation to include those groups as well, because we really do value their input on a lot of things from the inside out. So the next steps, we've talked about creating that communications plan, and it's part of our district strategic plan, so we hope to have that in place by next summer for you guys to look over and review. That'll be a lot of work this semester. We are transitioning to a new website provider, so like Dr. Simpson said Infinite Campus bought Tyler Sys. That also happened with our website. And Final Site purchased Blackboard, who we use for our website vendor. So we are switching over to a new platform there, which will give us a good opportunity to kind of relook at our website. We're already working with our webmaster, Pat Weaver, on that. We want to continue the work of these new engagement committees like PTO leadership and the communication advisory. How can we work to best utilize them in communicating with all of our stakeholders? And then also just to look into, because we're not just trying to push information out, but we want to make sure we're listening. So what sort of tools or feedback mechanisms can we look at using to kind of feel more like we're listening to our community and gaining input and actually listening and revising things based on our community input. So are there things that we can look at to help capture those aspects? And that's all I have. If you have any questions for myself or for anyone on the team or anyone, but open now.
Questions? Anybody?
Yeah, go ahead, Christine. I'll go next.
Derek, I've working in higher ed, we've gone through so many website changes, and it's always thinking about the current student versus the prospective student. I would just wonder, as a family member, would I still on the website be able to quickly find the information I need when there's some kind of an emergency, like I need to get my kid out of school, or there's an absence, or I'm trying to find out information or how to call the school? Like those key pieces of information, will they still be salient on the front page?
Yes. So part of what we're looking at already is creating some sort of, and we can do this on our existing site too, some sort of family resource hub on our page so that it has all like links with information on like, here's where you need to go for adventure club, for school closings, that sort of thing. So while that will all still be really prevalent on the new page, it'll just be in a different spot. And like with anything, they'll be learning to do, but yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question, and I don't know if it's for you or our interns here, but I'm curious about just the internship program in general and how you were both selected or heard about it, and then just from an advertising standpoint, how, like, I'm curious, do you think that we could do a better job at advertising that the internship?
You guys want to go up? Can go up to the microphone. Sorry
to make you get up again.
Well, like Libby said, our marketing 1 teacher, Miss Laurentius, she recommended both of us last year, and I didn't know anything about the internship before, but she kind of told me, and she was like, you can meet with me, we can talk. And once I found more about it, I was like, I want to do that. And same with you.
Yeah, there. Last year, whenever Miss Laurentius, whenever she first told me about it, it was only me, Rebecca, and Drew Hauser. He's doing Statesman Nation. He was also. It was us 3 who were mainly interested, but we were kind of the only ones. And she did kind of tell us just a little bit late. She told us like December, which is whenever you start to sign up for your classes for the following year. So it was a little bit late, so I do think that we should kind of open it up a little bit more so people can learn more about it. But afterwards, the process was really simple. Like, we did the interview with Mr. Duncan and Shannon and Ms. Fox, and everything went well, and it was all smooth, and we all communicated very well. But I do think that it should be talked about a little earlier on in the year, and I think it's only... Since Miss L is the one who tells us about it, I think it's only really offered to juniors and seniors who are in marketing or Thrive.
And another thing, I think if I would have known about it sooner, I would have been able, like I had to kind of move around my schedule a little bit because I'm doing Thrive right now, and that takes up 3 hours of my day. So by the time I knew about this internship, I already like wrote down all of my classes, but I was like, I need to switch some things around. So I think letting people know more in advance would help with the whole like schedule.
Thank you. That's great feedback.
So it sounds like you answered it. But that's why I was curious if Ali had heard of this. And as a journalist, somebody who's in the journalism, Had you heard of this opportunity?
Yeah, I've heard of it and I've seen some of the videos definitely, but I didn't really know if it was like who it was offered to or like how they even got into it. But I mean, yeah, their videos pop up and a lot of people I follow repost them too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we work with Katie in the marketing department at the high school to identify students for our internship specifically. Yeah. No, so last year we had 3 student interns. Well, we have 3 this year too, but one of them focuses exclusively on Statesman Nation and helps Jerry Collins on the athletics side. So that was kind of how it worked last year. So that's how we generally have 2. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it'd be great, I guess, if we could get the word out earlier, and otherwise, though, it sounds like an awesome experience and a great program.
I think you're right. We also have worked with, this year specifically, some other students in sort of like the ECHO. We worked with Mia Willis on a couple things, and so the idea, I would love to have it be where we have some interns, but then we also can go to various students throughout, no matter the level, and work with them on different things.
Totally.
And so exploring opportunities for that too, I think would be good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
I was gonna, I mean, you've probably already on, when you mentioned the journalism class, that's perfect for journalism students. That's writing, that's all kind of things. It'd be great to be able to expand that and work with them, along with the yearbook. Maybe do it like a digital yearbook even at some point. Just throw it out there.
Yeah, we just did a story on the ECHO video roundup with 3 students, and we had just talked, after meeting them last week, I talked about to Mr. Johnson about it to see if any of them would be interested in helping do other additional storytelling later on. And they were receptive to it. We don't want to take away from what they're doing already, but we'd like them, if they want to help and get experience that way, then we would love to have it.
Just got one quick question. First, thank you guys. I love the social media takeovers and the videos you guys are doing. I look forward to seeing those when they pop up. But Derek, my one question I did have when I was looking at the presentation and your research and your findings, you talked about 20% of the respondents didn't feel like there were opportunities to express concerns or opinions about important issues. I was wondering if you had any, for lack of a better term, like crosstabs or additional data about those people to know if they are people that don't have kids in our schools or if they're people that don't have email or internet access, or if we knew anything more about those people, because while it's not a huge number, it's a little bit bigger than I would have expected it to be, I think. So I'm just curious what else we knew about that population and how we might be able to reach them.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to look and see in the surveys to see if I can break it down in there. I will say that when we did the survey, communication survey the year before, when I first got here, it was about the same number. So there wasn't much change year over year over that. But like I said, there's about 300 people, so I'm not, however many 20% of that is. But yeah, I can look at that and see if there's a way we can help out and identify who those people are so that we can make sure that there are opportunities that exist.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it in terms if we're writing a communications plan, right? Thinking about strategies that might be relevant to the broader population.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just curious with the website and the Tyler SIS changes because the companies are merging or being whatever. Do we have a chance to look for other options? Do we pick those? Do we just go with who bought them? Do you know?
Yeah. No, we looked at both options for both programs. The technology department, it kind of manages both of those platforms, the website and with Infinite Campus. So I think those came through reports last year. Through things, yeah.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Actually, can I jump in real quick? Are both of the students seniors that just got up? Can we hear about what their plans are? Just curious if you're going to keep in the communications path, if you have college plans, just curious.
So I just committed to DePaul University in Chicago for marketing. With Thrive, I really found my love for like digital media and managing social media and all that. So I just want to pursue that in a bigger city.
I have yet to commit anywhere, but I really do want to get my real estate license. And last year, I did a couple internships, and I had 2 mentors. They were real estate agents for Herman London. But I've been talking to them and working with them so I can start studying to get my real estate license. And since I'm 18, I'm going to start doing that right outside of high school. And whenever I go to college, since I won't be able to major in like real estate or anything like that, then I will end up majoring in marketing. I just don't know where I'm going yet.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Is this working?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So thank you tonight for having me here for the DEI report. And I'll be joined by Dr. Wiley Skinner as well as Dr. Adams. So I have the report, and you all have the report in your packet. And before we kind of just run through the slides, just want to give you a little bit of a narrative. This role, as you know, has existed now for about 3 years. And the report captures everything that's required according to policy ACI. And what's not captured in the report is kind of some other things that have happened because of this position. And so it's really been a great opportunity to feed into the fabric of our community, right? So building connections with students, with staff, with the board, with the community, being called in to problem solve different things that come into play, going into the Chelsea Center, presenting to students who are in the teaching and learning cohort or PPIF, working with Dr. Adams on different curriculum initiatives, program evaluations, like you name it, and the list goes on, right? Freestyle Pool Pass, which is 3 years now, and we've impacted hundreds of families with giving them access to the pool, and that's very closely related with community partners, right? So being able to take this position and really let it morph into something that's really here to service the district, but you kind of can't capture that in the data of the report. So just wanted to say thank you again for this role. And even things like being a grant foundation, you know, the Bridging Our Stories program allowed us to work closely with the community as well as connections. And Dr. Lee's on this committee. We have a professional learning committee here in St. Louis that brings together public schools, independent schools, parochial schools, and we meet once a month and we dialogue, share resources, support each other. And it's truly been very helpful to network inside our districts and outside our districts. We've done PD for each other, so it's worked well. So that's just kind of some narratives, and then we'll get into the presentation today. The first 2 slides really just breaks down the pieces that are stipulated through policy ACI, which is anti-bias, anti-racism, equity policy. So as you can see, most of our items are completed and or ongoing. And this also follows up with those pieces that you can see here that we are working on all these initiatives. Again, everything is never really completed when you're talking about equity work and servicing the needs of our entire community. So next we have Dr. Wiley Skinner, who will talk to us about the Teachers of Color hiring data, followed by Dr. Adams, who will walk us through 3 slides. And the data this time, we moved it to the end of the report for you to reference at your leisure. Dr. Wiley Skinner.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a glance of our hiring since 2017. Overall, we have increased, and I'm very grateful of our teachers of color, or those staff members that identify as individuals of color. We've increased that not just in our teaching staff, but also in our support staff. We have a nurse of color, we have admin assistants of color. So we're very excited about that. Our overall new hire percentage of teachers of color or certified people of color is about 24%. And that's been pretty consistent over the past, I'd say, 5 years or so. And from that, we've been able to retain about 67% of our certified staff of color, and that also includes our administrators. So most of our staff of color that are moving on to AP roles, principal roles, assistant soup roles, and some of them have made some lateral moves outside of the district. But overall, when they do leave us, they're leaving us either, we had one that left for private practice last year. So we have not really received any reports that people are leaving because they're not happy necessarily with the district, but other career opportunities have happened. And it is just a reality in Webster because we're small. We only have one high school, one middle school. There's only so far you can go. But we are very, again, excited to know that we are still maintaining at that 24% that we are averaging each year, and that we've retained almost 70% of our certified staff of color since kind of tracking this data since 2017. Thank you.
I'm excited to share a little bit about our professional learning work. And so it's hard to believe that we are 3 years into this process. I remember when Dr. Williamson first joined us, and one of our first conversations was we need to plan a DEI new teacher training progression. And here we are in year 4, the first year where we're implementing that work. And so on a portion of this slide, you can see how the learning progresses as teachers enter the district in their first year, and then how it continues through year 4. Oftentimes we describe it as a funnel, and so it starts very broad in terms of looking at the work of the individual, and then narrows down to culturally responsive teaching and the work and the impact on students within the classroom. And so Dr. Williamson has been key in helping to implement all of those different trainings and different sessions that we've been able to offer our staff. In addition to the new teacher cohort, we are also engaging our new administrators over the last few years through our new administrator orientation program in conversations around DEI work as well. On the other side of the screen, you can see whole staff training that we've initiated over the last few years. A portion of that is the annual ABAR session that all of our staff go through as a part of our board policy. The next was the gender identity and expression training that was offered to all staff last year. And then this year, we facilitated, or Dr. Williamson facilitated, a session on ability awareness for all staff within the district. In addition, several highlights of this work has been the required part of the annual employee training around the actual policy, the new administrator book club that I already mentioned, the new teacher DEI training progression, the ability awareness training, and then this year, actually 2 years ago, as part of year 2, we offer a social justice cohort for our newest staff. But we also found that we have a lot of staff within the district who, for a variety of reasons, did not attend that particular training. And so we've gone through the process of sending folks who have been in the district for a while through this opportunity. And financially, we're only able to offer one additional cohort a year, but we are sending staff who have been in the district, not just new staff, through that training as well. This summer, or at the beginning of the school year in August, we held the Heart of the PLC conference where our principals worked together with me and with all of the staffs across the district. And one of the sessions was facilitated by several of our Webster Groves High School students in terms of offering feedback and in terms of offering their perspective to our educators about the work that we are doing in class. And it was incredibly powerful to hear the voices of our students as they were engaging their educators in what their experience is like. And Dr. Williamson organized that. And then in addition to that, hopefully you've seen through our various program evaluations that an equity consideration has been included in each of our program evaluations, whether it's looking at communication, as Derek just shared, or whether it's looking at curriculum changes or new student information system, technology, et cetera. We have done our best to integrate that equity lens into all facets of what we're doing, not just curriculum-wise, but looking through the work of finances, looking through the work of construction, et cetera, to make sure that as we are making decisions going forward, we are applying an equity lens to that work. This year, actually over the next few months at various board meetings, you'll hear from several of these program evaluations, and I encourage you to, again, focus in on that equity lens. That will be a consideration in every one of those presentations as we continue to move closer to providing equity and excellence for our district.
Thank you. So on to the Equity and Action Committee. You all are aware of this committee. It's existed for several years. I just want to give some highlights on the impact, and this committee is led by myself and Ms. Tina Clark-Scott. So this year, they've really done a lot. They reviewed and provided feedback on the culture and climate surveys, the family survey, as well as the student surveys. They looked at the data from those. They've given us their wonderings. They've posed questions to us. They were very active with their strategic planning process, and they looked at the objectives that were related specifically to equity, and they broke it down and gave us recommendations. Also, this committee was created a collaborative subcommittee of every PTO has an equity chair. Some have vice presidents, some have chairs. And so we get together quarterly and we share resources, we provide support, they get to know each other, and then they plan an annual event that's district-wide, and that'll be held in February. They also help to organize the family barbecue. And so for our second year, as you all know, was held in September, and it grew from last year. And so we had over 300 attendees, and that involved folks from our PTOs all work together at tables, as well as community members, as well in businesses. As Dr. Adams mentioned, we do have the Principals High School Equity Group. We created that in 2021, myself and Assistant Principal Maddie Craig. And just some highlights, it's really exciting when these students come together and now they're able to present to staff. So last year they pushed into the 9th grade advisory sessions. They presented at the heart of the PLC. And then this year, they're going to present to our DLT in February, and we're also going to submit an application for them to present. It's not called Ed Camp anymore. Hashtag WG Learns in February as well. So again, having that student voice and having them present to our educators is a very great experience for all. And last but not least, our Staff of Color organization used to be Teachers of Color, and then the Planning Committee decided it was not inclusive, so they changed the name to Staff of Color last year. And it's an affinity group, but as always, it's open to any employee who would like to join. And so we had our annual breakfast, welcome breakfast in August, right after opening day. And it was just wonderful just seeing the smiles, the hugs, and seeing people connect. And then they had a half-day session for certified staff in October, and there'll be another half-day session in March of this year, as well as various social opportunities to, again, help build community within our families here. Any questions for any one of the presenters this evening?
I think I just want to recognize how hard it is to do DEIB work in our current landscape. So shout out to you, Dr. Williamson, because I know the day-to-day is tough some days. Although your report was amazing, the narrative behind it, there are just as many tough days as there are those wins. So thank you for persevering and staying in a role, because I think probably what's hardest about diversity work is that when we get to that real point of change, it's the hardest piece of it, and that's oftentimes when we pull back. So kudos to you.
Any other questions?
I have one. The panorama information or the surveys that go out, can you remind me once again, do we compare that to national averages?
So we do not compare that to national averages because how Panorama is set up is they have segments of questions. So for instance, if the question bank is on belonging, you have to take every question, which is between 8 and 12, in order to compare it to the national average. We didn't want our survey being 100 questions. So we kind of picked and chose the various questions, so we're not able to compare it on a national level.
I would just be curious if we could maybe focus in on a couple of areas and then just ask all the questions in those areas so that we could have that national data. I've heard from other board members that have heard that information, but I don't know what's right and certainly trust you, but just wanted, to put that out there in case it was consideration of thought.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Pam Fraser, window replacement package.
Yes, thank you. As you know, as a part of Proposition S was a project to replace the windows on that existing two-story addition at Hickson. So what you have in front of you is Hickson window replacement package number 1. So that is the windows, that is for the windows that face Elm, just that side. We've elected just to do one side of that two-story addition at a time. So we went through our normal bid process. We opened the bids on November 30th. We received a total of 4 proposals from 4 different contractors. We were pretty excited about having that and pretty excited that it came close to our budget projection. So after that, the 2 lowest companies were interviewed. After the interview process and checking references, the recommendation is to hire Aspire Construction, who was the low bid vendor on the project. The recommendation is to hire them to replace those windows. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have questions?
I just want to say thank you very much for replacing those windows.
Ditto. And also thanks to Rob for sticking around.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Aspire Construction as the contractor for the Hickson window replacement package number 1.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Dr. Wiley Skinner, substitute pay.
Okay, there we go. All right. So happy to offer this opportunity to you guys, hopefully for approval. As you are aware, we are facing a substitute teacher shortage. Webster is very fortunate. We actually have certified teachers in all of our classrooms, so that's not a concern for us. However, because of our work in DEI and PD and all of the different things that we are trying to make sure our teachers are properly trained and equipped to support our kids, we need substitutes throughout the year in order to do that work. What we've been finding this year is that our current substitute pool is a bit strained in that when we have the PD days, we have our typical day-to-day subs, right, for illnesses, whatever those reasons are. And then you add PD on top of that, and it just kind of weighs the system down for those days. We do honor PD, and we think and we know that it is valuable and our staff need it. And so what we thought about was an opportunity to offer our Webster Groves retirees, those teachers who've recently retired, or not teachers, teachers who've recently retired, counselors, an opportunity to maybe come back and support us during those PD days. So offering them a program where their rate of pay would be higher than our regular day-to-day subs in order to honor their work and what they've done in the district to pay them at a higher rate. Hopefully, they would be able to partner with Dr. Adams and his department in order to get themselves scheduled for those PD days. We know what those days are in the beginning of the year. They can select their days, they can select the building, they can select their teachers, so they have some voice and choice and autonomy in that, so that when we do have PD, the thought is that our typical day-to-day subs that are working for illnesses and vacation days or whatever, that those subs can remain in that pool, and we can hopefully pull our reps to retirees in order to support us for that PD work. And potentially, if we have some of those longer term, people, then you'd have more experienced people who know the schools, who are experienced to support our kids. So what we're offering, hopefully, is for your approval, to approve the Webster Groves Retiree Substitute Program, which includes that concept and also an additional rate of pay. So their daily rate would be $157 per day, while the day-to-day subs that are not in this are not our retirees. They're at $116 a day. And then if they were to do long-term, then that rate would be $218 per day, and that would again depend upon the need there. So those rates, we ran comps, and we looked at those comparisons for other districts who offer something similar. So we are not alone. We're not the last, but we are definitely not alone in offering this, and hopefully hopes that we will be able to attract some of our retirees back. They can pick when they work, they have a higher rate of pay, they can help out their colleagues that they used to work with, and we're hoping it'll be a win-win for them and also for us in supporting PD. That's been one of the challenges in some of our situations, where if we don't have enough subs, then do you send the teacher to PD, do you not? It just creates a whole nother dynamic for schools, and we're hoping this could assist in remedying that. Our goal would be to reach out, send this information to our retirees via email, make some personal calls. I've sent it to principals, so they know where their, most recent retirees are, and try to pitch it to them so we can get them in and get them hired, and hopefully be able to support us if you approve it starting this upcoming second semester. So I've talked a lot. Are there any questions or anything I can answer?
Anybody have questions?
I don't have a question, but I know that a prior board had asked you to be creative and in thinking about the teacher shortage and some of these issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really want to thank you for coming up with this, this solution anyway.
Thank you.
I just have one question. So on the personnel report, there's the everyday substitute.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same as the long-term substitute?
No. So good question. So we're welcome to Webster. So we have kind of three categories. We have like a day-to-day, and they just pick when they work, right? Tuesday, Thursday, whenever they're interested. Then we have our everyday subs, which are assigned to buildings. So Sandy reports to Hickson every day, 5 days a week or 4 days a week, and that's my assignment. I'm just there. And then the assignment subs are subs, and I'm there for the entire year. When you think assignment subs or long-term subs, think those people that are there to cover like FMLA illnesses, for maternity leaves or surgeries. So I'm there for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks, not the entire year. So our everyday subs are there the entire school year, like a full-time person, and the assignment people are just there for a moment in time to cover while a teacher is out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one question. It's not really a question. I love this. Thank you for being creative and helping us work on the substitute shortage. Just an idea to pitch out there as well.
Sure.
This is great for our Webster Groves retirees, but I know there's also other teacher retirees that live in our community. So maybe it's thinking about, if this doesn't give us all the relief we need, maybe there's a rate in between the two or something in the future that might help as well. Because I just know that there's lots of teachers in our community as well that may not have retired from our district.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you.
All right.
We do need a motion on this one.
I make a motion to approve the Webster Groves School District Retiree Substitute Program and the rate of pay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Dr. Wiley Skinner. And we have now reached the consent agenda.
I will motion to approve consent agenda items 5.02, 5.03, 5.04, 5.05, 5.06, 5.07, 5.08, 5.09, 5.10, 5.11, and 5.12.
All right. And I will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel and preparations for negotiations.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Roll call.
Yes.
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 All right. We are in executive. Should we take